Okay, so this is day 125, June 18th, commemorating the meditation that I wrote 10 years ago today, which is pages 206 and 207 from Being and Learning, Chapter 8. Today was a good day, and saw the proofs for the libretto for Late to Love, the meditations that I wrote for Sam Roach's album lyrics, and I also completed and submitted the final revisions for a review essay that I wrote, and that's a kind of a eulogistic piece for my late very good friend and colleague, guy who really inspired me, Ilan Gurziev. So it's a good day. And we also had our first fire of the summer, or campfire, as we like to call it. A little fire outside the house tonight. Getting ready for a week of vacation coming up next week. So in the blog post that I wrote today, I talked about 3 things from this meditation that jump out at me. The first is Martin Buber and his category, the I Thou. The second is the path of silence, and the third is the appearance of Karl Popper in this work. Learning unfolds along the path of silence, the purposeful wandering we call poetic dialogue. To be engaged in this wandering is to be seized by the pathos of compassion, devoted to the Tao, and devoted to the preservation of the alterity of the other, to the letting be of Thou. To preserve the alterity of the other is to cultivate the open region of openness. This cultivation is the communicative action that proceeds without why. To proceed without why is to let go of the desire of the definitive, to renounce the claim of the calculative, what sometimes goes by the name of science, but which has lost the originary link between science, art, and philosophy. In renouncing this claim, the sage becomes the teacher who lets learning be learned and performs the role of the one who guides others along the path of silence, the wandering without why. In this letting be of learning, the sage guides the company of learners together with the evocative saying that conveys the appearance of the ineffable, and thereby enjoins them in a dialogic community, where each can be seen and see, hear and heard. This is the polyphonic gathering that chants without why. To arrange and direct the chanting without why is to let learning be learned. And this response to the word, to the unifying of the many, that is wisdom manifesting in mindfulness, is the sages conveying the love of wisdom, devotion to learning, through the evocative saying that seizes and estranges. The sage conveys the directive of wisdom through the evocative saying that seizes and estranges, and thereby invokes the pathos of experiential philosophy. The path of pathos, of the experience that evokes compassion and initiates the building of poetic dwelling, the being together in peace and freedom. This all unfolds without why, gathered by the ineffable, the unnameable, and unspeakable beyond fact, fiction. To be gathered beyond fact and fiction is to be unified by a communicative performance, poetic dialogue, that produces meaning rather than assert bold conjectures and grand refutations, as Karl Popper might say. This so-called logic of scientific discovery should not be excluded from the learning community a priori. And on the contrary, we must understand this particular way of approaching science has the potential to be a specific moment or even an occasion of poetic dwelling. Below, we will explore further how this kind of scientific discourse is, in its own way, grounded in and seeking to promote openness and thereby contribute to the building of peace and freedom. Here we seek to underline why mindfulness, as the modality of the freedom emerging in the joint cultivation of community, emerges in the production of meaning unfolding from the gathering located far from the linear road of the propositional logic that rushes us towards what is correct versus incorrect. To emphasize learning as, on the contrary, unfolding along the path of pathos, where the learner as lover of wisdom is devoted to the appearance of the ineffable, we seek to recollect the hidden root of mindfulness, that is, wonder. Specifically, we seek to understand why the teaching that lets learning be learned and thereby cultivates mindfulness through the cultivation of compassion, directs an operatic dialogue and proceeds without why. And that's how it ends. So, just to clarify, that's operatic as in A-P-O-R-E-T, aporeia. It's a Greek word which means dead end or no resolution or no way out. Depends on the way or the place that you use it. Here, I'm using it as inconclusive, right? So, without a conclusion, which is another way of talking about moving without why. So, if someone asks the question, well, why is this the case, or why is this the case? They're seeking for reasons or rationales. So, to proceed without why is to move artistically, making meaning. And that's how it ends today, commemorating the meditation from 10 years ago. So remember, check out the blog, Duarte Being and Learning on Blogger for more context and commentary on this particular meditation.